that Delhi police is saying that they have arrested, with the help of the Mathura police, the driver of the Uber cab service who is accused of raping a woman on a Friday night. He has been missing since then. This is the car that he used. Sonal Mehrotra on the phone line. Sonal, what information do you have?
Amitabh, 32-year-old Shiv Kumar Yadav, who's been accused in this case, has finally been nabbed in Mathura around the place where the police had been probing since early morning. We understand the guy who belongs to Mathura, and the car was also found. The cab in which the incident, the horrific crime took place really was also found around that area, has been found. Now, the cops telling us that it was very difficult to trace him because he locked himself in a secluded room on the outskirts of Mathura and switched off his mobile phones as well, was not in touch with anybody. That made it extremely difficult for the police. But based on information and getting help from local police, we are told, Delhi police sources telling me that it was with a lot of help from the SSP Mathura as well, that they were able to nab this particular apartment wherein the accused had locked himself up. In fact, they had to break open the door based on information of beat constables in that area to finally find that man there. And about half an hour back, they've been able to confirm to us that he has been verified as Shiv Kumar Yadav, the accused in this case. Now, they will be, several teams have been out on the run for this. Some 12 teams were sent from Delhi, including those from Special Cell, Crime Branch, and also the Northern District. And they will all be bringing him back now for a test identification parade. That will be prime now to put that accused in front of the victim, in front of the survivor, and see put it in court of the law that he is the one. And that's when law will take its course and further investigations will follow. Amitabh?
So tell us a little bit more about this Shiv Kumar Yadav and his association with Uber.
Well, police do not have any background information about him so far. We tried to check with him if he had a past criminal record, but they say as soon as they get his hands on him, a fingerprinting test, etc., will be done, which will give more information and more database on whether or not is he a repeated, a criminal or depending on that, investigations will follow. But currently, they'll be looking at getting him here, and then finally, doing a test identification parade and, getting his statement as well in the court of law under 161. Remember, while all this is happening, the victim in this case, the survivor, she's been completely kept away and is undergoing counseling as well. She will be brought in for the first time in front of the accused, and then, further procedures shall follow. Amitabh?
But did he work for Uber for about 3 months, and were there two other drivers who used the same car?
Well, Uber is a very new company which has started off recently in the national capital. We understand that this particular driver had been in association with them for about 6 months or so. Remember, nobody is hired or fired by Uber cabs because they merely entered into a contract with several cab drivers or agencies. In this case also, Shiv Kumar Yadav was one of those who had a cab, and there were some 3 drivers who were, operating on the same cab service in different shifts. So there was no policy as such. That's why there have been very few details also available with Uber cab, something which have been heavily criticized about. So currently, what it seems like is that once he's out and his information and more details about his background come out, perhaps then, questions, the next step will be also to raise questions on Uber cab itself, on why was it that background checks, etc., were not followed, something which they claim to be doing, but in this case, police officers telling us categorically that they had been completely ignored.
Sonal, we'll just get back to you as soon as we establish visual contact with you. Also joining us on the phone line from the capital is Tanima Biswas. Tanima, did they find this accused in a secluded room on the outskirts of Mathura, and did they have to break down the door?
Right, Amitabh. At the moment, we have very sketchy details about exactly how he was picked up, but essentially, that's what the police are telling us, that they had already conducted background searches with his family home, and of course with other relatives who stayed in and around Mathura. And as we had also seen a little earlier, that the police had in fact also announced a cash reward of 1 lakh rupees for anybody who could give them information about the whereabouts of this accused driver. But that, of course, within an hour or so of that announcement being made, the police teams actually, which had been in Mathura, managed to track him down at one particular house. The details of that exactly how and he managed to get over there and take refuge over there is not exactly out yet with the media. But yes, it was the police teams who had been camping there since yesterday, after they found out the details and address of this man, were able to nab him after a point in time, and they are of course right now on their way bringing the accused back to Delhi. Amitabh?
You're saying the details are sketchy, Tanuma, but did that offer of reward for 1 lakh help in this case?
What the police were telling us is that this was essentially their entire own investigation, though the announcement of the cash reward had been made earlier in the evening. Probably the word did not spread far enough to actually have any sort of information coming in from the public as such. And it was, what the police are telling is that they had 12 teams tracking down this particular accused in Western UP. Of course, they knew that he was based out of Mathura, which is why the concentration of their forces was in Mathura itself and in other parts of Western UP close to Mathura. And finally, one of the teams actually managed to nab down this man at a house, as Sonal was also reporting. But exact details of how he got there, for how long he had taken refuge over there, and whether or not anybody else had been helping him out in taking shelter in this particular location, that of course has to be determined by the police, and the details will be out.